Hello and welcome to another weekly episode of the Beer Fridge Podcast. And this week's episode, we talk about pickles.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes, the Beer Fridge Podcast, your home of real beer, real breweries, real opinions. As always, wherever you listen to this episode, make sure you subscribe, hit that ding-a-ling-a-ling to be notified of every single episode. You can watch along on Spotify. You can watch also on YouTube. Like, follow, and share as well. You can show your support by giving us a 5-star rating, and you can show your official support and get every single episode early by going to patreon.com/beer fridge podcast. All the links are in the description. My name's Gavin. I've got my usual drinking friends in the form of Callum, Scott, and MD. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello.
Good eve.
Oi, oi.
Hello. And we are joined by podcast friend and returning guest, Ali from Barney's. Good evening, mate.
Hello. How we doing?
Very
Morning.
good.
Good.
Very good.
Yeah.
We will start off as we normally do, go around the virtual table and see what we're drinking to kick things off.
Let's go around the table.
Mr. Muir, kick us off, please.
Come back to me. I've got. Sorry, I'm feeling me an issue here.
Solid
It's just,
start.
it's
Well
just
done.
in. It's just in. No.
I did message you. And say, didn't come to me first.
Oh,
What are you doing?
That's fine.
go on then, MD.
Computer issues.
He's clearing his history. Go on, MD.
I've started with on trend with Barney's beer, funnily enough, and I've got Stone's Throw, which is their alcohol-free lager, 0.5%. It's classic pill style lager, and I've got to admit, like, it's just easy. It is really crisp for non-alcoholic, and I know that sounds really weird, but like, that's one of the things from a lager point of view that I always kind of, if a non-alcoholic is done properly for me, it still has the crispiness that you'd expect. Body is always really difficult with lager, and like with proper German style lager, but it's really crispy. It's crushable, which I think is alcohol free, and I don't feel like I'm getting all the flavor. It's got that malty. It's not just wort, to be fair, which I think the poorer alcohol free lagers tend to be, and you just have, as if you're drinking some kind of porridge kind of vibes. This has got everything that you would expect from a lager, and it's really tasty. And to be honest with you, it's alcohol free, so I'm going to be able to crush it pretty quickly and move on, which was exactly my thought process to kick us off.
Mhm.
Good stuff.
Love to hear it.
Gilroy,
Check some
I'm pickling.
you pickling? Early pickle?
Straight in. We pickle.
Pickle.
Mhm. Aye, it's whenever I saw that it was coming back, I've been watching it, as is my other half, in fairness. But it's just incredible when we had it at Gravity last year. It was just a revelation, and like, obviously it wasn't the first beer of the day, as I'm sure Callum and Ali will attest to. But it was, when we had it, it was just the perfect kind of palate cleansing, really fresh but really different, properly unique flavour profile. And I'm a big pickle guy, fucking hell. Walked right into that.
Just a big guy.
But quite like that kind of flavour suits me. It's got that almost no savoury, but it just has a bit something else. It's not super duper sour. It's just a really, really good depth of flavour. And for me, reading the kind of hop bill and things like that on it, it's a proper beer first. It's no messing about. There's plenty opportunities for your Michael Jackson soundtrack, Gavin. Plenty T90s in there. Yeah, there's indeed Pilgrim, Citra, Eldorado, Citra again on the cold side, Motueka, Mosaic, Sriracha Ace. So there's no messing with the old hot bill either. But then it's really well rounded. I'm doing a bit of comparison. So I'm doing my last can, which has been refrigerated the whole time since we got it delivered, of 2025's version. Or that's when it kind of its kind of best before date was February 2025, and today's version or the new version launching for people 9th of May? Is that right?
9th of May. Yep. 9th of May.
Away. This Friday.
Yes.
And this version, I would say, I've only had a couple of mouthfuls of each. I'll need to take them through to the boss to get the real opinion on them. But I would say the newer version is it's a bit more well rounded. It seems like it's more kind of rounded out. It's just better. Obviously, it's as you go. I think it's a really good. I think one of those items where the sequel's just as good, if not better, than the original. So far, I mean, what was the difference? Because you started to go into Ali a wee tiny bit, and I know we're going on the table, but is a wee hint of what's different this time to the original brew?
I mean, fundamentally, it's not a different recipe. It's just that we had to scale it up. So we scaled it up to do a full batch brew this time round. Right. Now, for us, a full batch brew is 900 liters. So I mean, it's still relatively small batch. But the first one, we only had 6 kegs and 10 cases of cans. So I mean, it was a couple of 100 liters. But that's because we brewed it specifically for Gravity Beer Fest last year. So we did brew it with it being a kind of silly idea. Let's do this one little beer just for the festival, really. But obviously there was a couple of spare that we could put into the bottle shops and things. It's interesting when you say it's a beer first, and it's got all the hops and things in there as well. And there was a few versions, shall we say, which was a bit more gimmicky and a bit more, pumped full of flavorings. We even kind of tested out dosing it with straight up vinegar as well. Yeah, well, it had gone to the point where it was like, you know what, this is really tasty, but if people want a gherkin beer, is it gherkiny enough? So let's just see what happens. And it was like, see if it just can cut through. And obviously it was too much. It was stupid. But yeah, we did play around with a few different versions of it. And this is the one where we thought, you know what, it is balanced. It's gherkiny enough that it's there, but it is still a refreshing beer. And I guess that's why it kind of took on a life on its own, because people just seem to love it. So that's why we've brought it back out now. So.
It's really tasty. It just comes through, like you say, the kind of cucumber and the dill, the coriander that comes through just comes through enough. But you don't. Yeah. I don't think you lose much of the fact that it's an actual beer. I said to you guys before, it reminds me of the original brews way back of that we got when we had Brick Brewings. It was the strawberry and
cucumber.
And cucumber. Mm-hmm. So we had the original ones of that, no the most recent versions, because it isn't the same brew, but it's the original versions were incredible, which made us kind of go after it. It was a totally different flavour, but it had a really good base. This is really well balanced, and I'm excited for those that don't normally drink that style of beer with those kind of adjuncts to it, to taste it, and I'm sure they'll enjoy it. I mean, see, we're like one of those big dirty kind of like barbecue chicken burgers or chicken sandwiches or something like that. It'd be the perfect accompaniment to something like that.
Yeah, it kind of, it's definitely a style and a flavor profile that works with food. Obviously because it has recognizable flavors in it, but also, we add rock salt too. So it does have a kind of savory edge as well as a light sourness as well. So it does pair quite well. First time round when I had some cans, to take home, I was kind of drinking it that way. I was having it with dinner and things like that, and it worked. It totally worked. So I think people will be able to play with it.
It's amazing.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Carl, you ready now?
Yes, thanks. Sorry about that. I'm on the alcohol-free beer as well, and I'm echoing what Mark said. you're definitely not getting that kind of tea, watery vibe that is a real scourge to alcohol-free beers. Oftentimes covered up with endless amounts of hops to try and overshadow that, and going with the lager, going with the Pilsner, it's kind of you're laying everything out there. So it's really refreshing, literally and figuratively, to see one well done. It's got a great body, and as Mark says, it's really moreish and crushable, and it's not anything. It's nothing less than a pleasure to drink. This one.
Oh, cool. That's good. That was one we played around with a few times as well. So we started. We've had a non-alcoholic pale ale for a few years now. In a lot of ways, it is just jam-packed full of hops, so that it can have a huge amount of flavor, and it works. And we kind of actually add a little touch of lime in there to freshen it up, and it's always been popular. But we wanted to look at doing a lager this year, but we started playing with that end of last year, so it's been a few months really of doing little trials here and there. Some more successful than others, and then we eventually kind of settled on the one that you guys are drinking. But yeah, that crushability. That was the thing that kind of drove us to change the recipe when we knew it wasn't right. Some of them had that sweetness behind them that we didn't quite like, and some of them tasted good, but they weren't like crisp enough. They didn't have that sharpness. And
it's got the bitterness of it just kind of like lingers. It's nice. It just kind of it's moreish. It just makes you want to go back like a good lager should. So, as you can tell, it's been tanned pretty quickly, which was kind of the
good stuff.
Was the meaning behind it, I suppose. So, not good work.
One beer, you just don't touch the recipe. Just keep it as it is. This is I edge on saying one of the best beers I've had this year, and I'm enjoying it so much that I want more, and I want to buy more straight away. Is Squish the single hop dipper at 7.2%. This is ridiculous. This is
always got excellent.
Yep, smooth. Super smooth. I also love that you've got obviously the hops in the side of the can, but what a hot side, cold side. You've got the yeast in there. So if somebody wanted to make this themselves, who's an avid homebrewer, the potentially could. But I don't think they'll get to the level of this because this is ridiculous. The punch on the fruit and just pure Citra is fantastic. Pillowy, soft, nice, and like when it came out the can, the color is insane. The color is magnificent, and I am enjoying this way too much. By the way, this is not 7.2%. This tastes like 3.
It's easy. It's very easy to polish off a can. Yeah.
Does it stand up to the beers that you were having the other day at that random brewery that nobody's ever heard of?
With the big
just up
nose.
the road?
Right, yeah. Oh, 100%. Like it's that level of beer though. Like when you put it against all these other breweries that make magnificent dippers, like the Beaks, Overtones, these type of caliber of breweries that you immediately think of when you talk about double IPAs. This is just it. So I had the Flock and Beak collaboration called Threads 4 at the weekend.
Yeah.
Stunning. This is just
awesome.
This is alongside it. Easy.
Is it a dipper at 7.2? Just to be that guy.
I think that's fair. We had the same conversation. I think realistically, I mean, you maybe have to rewind a few years, but 7 and above dipper. In the modern landscape, it kind of needs to be a bit higher. And to be honest, we'd originally planned for it to be a bit higher as well.
I think if it drinks like a dipper, I think you get away with it. I think that's always the thing with the ABV. Sometimes it's 8 and above and all that stuff. But I think there's a body, there's a texture that you come to expect from a double IPA, and I think if you can get that in at 7%, 7.2%, excuse me, then fair enough. But
I think that's fair. I know
my camera's now a bit further away, which is daft, but the lacing on the glass is magnificent. The color is spectacular, and it's the body of the beer is thick, but it's also smooth and light when you're drinking it, so it's super drinkable. I know I'm fucking miles away.
I mean, again, that was kind of the aim on that one. That's a big departure for what I think people would expect Barney's to produce in a lot of ways. And it was us kind of challenging ourselves, and let's see if we can do that. I mean, it's got 30 grams per liter of Citra. So although the ABV is lower, I think that classifies as a double when you go that big. But it totally comes through, and because it's a single hop, like we use Citra in a few different variations, so it's not just T90s. We're using Spectrum, we're using the Max, we're using them at about. Thank you. We're using them at, I think it was 5 different parts of the process, and so it is jam packed, but because it's single hop, it's the flavor profile just carries through, and it was more about layering flavors as opposed to just putting a whole bunch together and see if they work. So. That's a big beer, but it's really easy to drink. I mean, I've polished off pints of it, put it that way.
It's ridiculous. See how like the amount of beers we've had before, and you say it's easy drinking. It'll be like an 8% beer, but in your head you'll be like, oh, it tastes like it drinks like a 4.5 or a 4.6. This drinks like a 3. It's stupidly drinkable. This is 3 or 4 of these.
You convinced me.
Bones from legs will be lost.
Danger juice.
Definitely losing your leg. Not your legs, just the bones. You might lose your legs. Ali, you want to be yourself?
Yes, I am. But I guess it sounds like I'm bucking the trend because I'm not on one of our beers. I'm drinking a 2x2 Dragonfly.
Nice.
Very easy going, liking that. It's 5.5%. There's no information about the hops, so I'm not too sure. But now I grabbed this out of the brewery fridge on the way out the door this evening. We got some cans. We did a collab with them a few weeks back, so we had some cans kicking about. So I thought I'd give it a go because I hadn't tried it before. But it's very nice. It's very nice.
Good stuff. Exciting. Good stuff. Gilroy's kicked it off with the pickle part. Just to kind of push on it more, like you mentioned, it's sold out already. Launches the 9th of May, but for you guys, this is like a massive launch for this beer. This isn't just sticking in one small area. This is going nationwide. This is going across everywhere, to be honest. And where you've got a good bottle shop or a good bar, you're probably going to get a strong chance where you can get this beer. And there's official Pickle merchandise as well, which is fantastic. Tell us more about this kind of national launch, and it almost feels like it should just be the 9th of May now should just become Pickle Day.
Pickle Day. Yeah, I mean, we've been calling it that. So, I mean, it was, like I say, we did it as a really small batch, but it just kind of grew arms and legs. And then between October, say, last year and just the last couple of months, I get messages every other day from random bottle shops, random bars across the UK who have been saying, are you guys who do the pickle beer? So I'm not really sure how word spread about it because, like I say, we hardly brewed that much of it. But we obviously knew that we had to rebrew it again and do a full batch. And then we thought, well, if we're going to do that, and it's kind of a silly beer, let's see how big we can go with it and see what we can do. So, we reached out to anybody who'd messaged and said, are you those guys? And said, we're going to do it again. We managed to kind of pull a map together that spans from Thurso up in the very north of Scotland all the way down to the south of Kent. So it's got a nice spread on the map. And they're all of our official pickle merchants on Friday. And we just thought we'd kind of run with it. And it's completely sold out. So there's obviously some on the web shop, but other than that, we don't have any left at the brewery. It's all started shipping out today. So it's been really cool.
I've got to admit, it's awesome to see when I seen the map and everything, just from knowing you guys in the brewery and how small it is, we're not beating about it. It's a titchy little brewery in the back of Summerhall.
It's a very small, almost too small brewery. Yeah.
I remember watching the videos you putting the tanks in, and what a game of Tetris slash Jenga slash I don't know what else it would have been trying to fit stuff in. But to see the map and just the area covered on a beer, and the branding of it, and it being so, I'm going to say left field because let's be honest, it's a pickle beer, and but the fact that it's got legs and it's when nationwide, I was so pleased and chuffed for these when I seen and where it has been. I've not tried the beer. The boys raved about it last year. I'm going to save it for the tail end of this because it does scare me a little bit, but at the same time, I think it's awesome, and hopefully it just takes off, and if it's an annual thing, then I think I could totally get behind Pickle Day. That's for sure.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I know. Let's say, I mean, I think there are bars and there are bottle shops who are doing their own little thing for Pickle Day. And one of our launch venues in Edinburgh is the Pit, which we kind of have a hand in because we have the bar out there. So it's a street food market out in Granton. And all the food trucks there, they're doing pickle menus this weekend. And it's kind of turned into a thing. I mean, we're very much just rolling with it,
The two best versions of pickles are in a can with 4.2% ABV and deep fried.
Deep fried. I love a fry.
Deep fried pickles, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm exactly the same. Love them. Absolutely.
Those listeners not in Scotland will be absolutely shocked to hear that deep frying something is the best version of it.
Can I ask the question, so it was brewed originally for your own festival, the Gravity Festival, based obviously at Summerhall. Was it where did the idea come from in terms of, was it just we want to do something weird and wacky? How does it work? Because if you're brewing a house beer for a festival, you've got two options. You do something that you think, right, actually, we're going to stand out here, like you say, pickle beer, or you're going to do something that is your amplified version of something that's it would be Volcano 2.0, whatever it might have been, and just ramp Volcano up to the moon and do something like that. Where did the pickle, the cucumber and dill goes come from?
Yeah, so we have an ideas board, like everybody who has a brewery has got an ideas board that you just throw stuff up there, and it could be recipe ideas, it could be beer names, it could be all that kind of stuff. This one actually came out of an idea that we'd had for Oktoberfest, so just around the same sort of time. And it was actually Barney had seen, now I can't remember which country this came from, but there was a beer that looked like a glass jar of hot dogs. And so he had this idea of, let's do an Oktoberfest beer, and then that's how we'll brand it. We'll make it look like a jar of hot dogs. Now, when you start to play around with images of hot dogs and putting them on the side of cans, doesn't really look so great. So we started playing around with other stuff. What else can you associate with it? Could be pretzels, and so it was more the kind of the look of the can that kind of did it. And then it was, well, gherkins, what would that be? It would be a sour. But then obviously we just thought that's a stupid idea. Shelved it. And then when it came to doing something for Gravity, we do an official beer for it, which was a NEPA that we did last year. And that was the kind of beer of the fest. And it was just called Gravity. That was the kind of crowd pleaser. But we knew on our bar that we could play around a little bit and have something silly. So the original plan was we have a core range sour called Sherbet, which is just a straight up kettle sour. And we kind of thought, well, let's kind of dose it with a couple of things. If we do cucumber and dill, we could bring that idea back. And it kind of just sort of grew from there. So yeah, that was it. It was kind of a weird roundabout way of doing it, but hey, it works. So
Definitely.
It's good though when these kind of natural ideas, and as crazy as they may seem initially, and then you bang heads together and you just start going through the process, and like you said, as crazy as the idea initially sounded, turns out to be this weird kind of almost craze thing. Like you said, you've got breweries and tap rooms, tapping you up and saying, "Oh, you the pickle guys?" Like
Yeah.
weirdly, like just from one beer puts you on the map that people that have maybe never heard of Barney's further afield are picking up the phone and going, "Oh, how'd I get that?" Like that's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, for people who are listening that don't know Barney's, first of all, I would not be surprised because we are a tiny brewery in Edinburgh. I think if you're in Edinburgh, you know Barney's because been there for this is year 13.
That's
But
mental.
95% of what we produce has always stayed in Edinburgh. There's the odd thing that gets out there every now and then. And over the last couple of years, I would say that's maybe slightly starting to grow because we're kind of making a point of trying to get it out there. But it's none of that is to chase expansion or anything like that. It's more, let's just put it out and see what everybody else thinks. Because we know that we can supply all of our regular customers in Edinburgh and they'll enjoy it. But it's fun to kind of go out and do something different, right? So yeah, it's been very cool to see all these random places buying our stuff, but also, you know, they're buying Pickle, but they're also buying Core. They're also buying some of the postmortem.
Get a volcano when you're at it.
Exactly. So it's for us, it's more exciting to see that. You know, they're not just putting in for this one gimmicky beer; they're trying everything else. And if that turns into more customers across the country, then yeah, great, awesome.
Let's be honest. If you can pull off a pickle beer, then if you're going to pick that up, then when you look at, you know, IPA volcano, if it's sherbet, if it's postmortem, if it's whatever, like you're going to think, well, if they're going to pull that off and that was tasty, the chances are they're going to pull off, dare I say, a more standard style of beer. So it's only going to open doors for us in terms of new customers, you know, people talking about it. And honestly, I just think it's such a great idea. Like it's weird and wonderful, but at the same time, it's going to bring, you know, customers just, you know, if you're in Edinburgh or in whatever, like, and you see, you know, cask Barney's or bottle can Barney's, you're going to pick it up because you're like, oh, I remember that weird pickle beer, and I just love the fact you put legs on the pickle, like we've literally got like a character. Like honestly, I think it's brilliant.
Right there in the back of my laptop.
It was,
Not that you can see it because it's too far away.
Yeah, this year stickers, and then next year it'll be me in a pickle suit now.
I was waiting on that. I was waiting
The
on
t-shirts and
the John McClane style board.
I totally, yeah, I can see where this is going.
I'll come and give you a hand. It'll be Big Pickle and Wee Pickle.
I'm Pickle
Hey.
I'm Pickle Rick.
That could have taken a turn quite quick. I think actually. Maybe sure, but sorry.
It went quiet. We're all right.
Yeah, exactly.
Gilroy, you got an update from the boss on the pickle beer, obviously the pickle master in the household.
Yeah, 5 stars all round. Aye, excellent. Just as good, just as tasty. It's a favourite. I've been asked to pre-order if I can. So definitely, it's a winner. I say it's only because there's been top-ups and we bought as many cans before and just always been in the fridge, and I don't try to leave it because I know that I would be murdered if one was asked for and it was not available. So I've been keeping that last one. I mean, I knew it was coming back. I was like, I'll keep it, taste it at the same time, and it's brilliant. It's superb. I really, really enjoy it. Cool. It's a great beer.
Have you opened last year's one as well yet? No.
Yeah, I've got the two of them open.
Yeah,
it's just it's the same. It just obviously it's the freshness. It's just the freshness is the difference. The one that's been sat there, it's the aged a wee bit longer, has maybe got a slightly feels maybe slightly brinier, but I think that's only just because it's been, even although it's been in the fridge the whole time, that's what happens. You're losing the beer and it's leaving the adjuncts sitting a wee bit slightly bit prouder, if you like, in the flavor.
Well, I mean, it's interesting when you said earlier, you know, it's dated for 2025. I can't remember.
Yes.
What did you say? February?
February 25 is the best before.
So that was, I mean, we put a 4-month date on that. You know, we packaged that in October. So we put a 4-month date on it simply because we didn't know how long it was going to last.
Yeah.
We didn't know how it would hold up. Cucumber in particular, you know, who knows? So we put a short date on that. So to hear that it's still tasting good is interesting.
I mean-
we didn't keep any old cans either, so we can't compare the two, which we would love to be able to do, but there we go. So yeah, to hear that it's held up, that's good to know. That's good to know because it means it's
the
pretty solid.
saltiness for me. I mean, I'm quaffing my way through it, and that's what's sort of rounding it off for me is that kind of savoury edge. I mean, if you had, strapped me to a chair and drilled my teeth, I don't know that I'd been able to tell you that a goes was supposed to have that salty edge. I don't know whether that's typical of the style, but this particular one is just and I don't like dill pickles like at all. Like, in fact, if they're on a burger, they're coming off that burger, and I don't enjoy them. But this is it's fabulous.
Yeah, that's cool. Yes, I mean, it will have that saltiness. I think this beer has maybe a touch more, but that's on purpose than your typical goes. But yeah, I mean, like you say, it's not gherkiny. For me, it's the cucumber. I think it does all the heavy lifting because it just brings such a fresh flavor profile and just lightens everything up. And like you were saying before, if you're having it at a festival, you're a few beers in. One of these is great, right?
It was really good, and I was going to mention that about Gravity Fest. It was a really well positioned beer when you think about the other breweries that were there, because you could Timothy Taylor, you could have a landlord, and you need to have that. You need to have a transition between that and moving on to Barney's stuff proper, or the Gravity, the beer of the festival, or to try and get a close up on him when he tries it. You could Timothy Taylor, and then you're transitioning into your Moonwakes and your Closet, and everybody else. Like, there was a whole host were there, and you could get some pretty serious heavy beers, but you need a transition between a behemoth of kind of traditional styles and Timmermans as well. You're having, I mean, whether it was the collaboration with Guinness or the young lambic stuff that Callum and I were trying and really enjoying. There was loads of great beers there, and it was just it was positioned really well, I thought, to stand out and act as a kind of transition. It really it helped us as we were going through. And I know we were blendery daft by that point, but
we came and spoke to you when we first came in and noticed it, and my first reaction was like, "Oh no, no thanks."
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, you were very anti-pickle.
And we went away and came, as Scott says, we went to the talk for the guys at Crossover Blendery, and it was like fruit overload and funkiness for days, and we came out and thought, okay, fuck it, I'm going to try it, and revelation. Well, Mark, what's the verdict?
No.
Get the big schnoz in there. That's it.
See this.
Oh no,
I don't know. I'm not I'm not the person for these beers. Like the saltiness, like this reminds me. Saltiness in beer reminds me of drinking really bad tequila. When you like get that salt and then you drink the tequila after that, and you're like,
I get you. Yeah,
but it's all about the salt.
Flashbacks.
The thing for me that is like, it's undoubted, Ali, like you said, the cucumber does all the lifting. It is really, really fresh. And the bit that I don't know how, I'm going to have to just keep drinking it to see, but it's the saltiness of it that, for me, makes it, like, I'm not saying unpleasant, but like my brain is like really working hard to be like,
you can
get over.
If you want to, you can say unpleasant. I'm not going to be offended.
Ali, you know me better. Ali, you know me better than that.
Well, this is very true. Yeah, this is very true. I only say that because if you look at Untapped, it's that classic Untapped thing.
Okay.
It's
Never drink these beers.
Fives or ones, you know what I mean?
Half star. Don't like goes.
Yeah,
never met a goes that like, that opinion hasn't changed. Thanks.
Fucking Untapped idiots. For me, I echo everything that Callum and Scott are saying. And to your point as well, Mark, as well, it is super refreshing. I like that, and I'm the same as you. I like the coriander hit you get off it.
It's nice.
I don't know if it's just me. I'm getting it right at the back, and I like that. I like it a lot. It's testament to what, and echoing what you were saying before, Ali. It's one of these beers where it is a kind of Marmite beer, but at the same time, I think for people that maybe don't like gozers or are fearful of gozers and think the idea is crazy, I genuinely think there'll be a ton of people who the first thought is what the fuck, and then
Oh yeah.
they'll try it, and then the second thought will be like, holy shit.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
that's
I mean, when we poured it at the festival, and I actually took a keg down to Gencraft. Shout out to the guys at Low Key Tap Room a couple of weeks back. I had a keg there, and you see people say, "Well, that looks disgusting, but I kind of have to try it." You know, it's intriguing, and then I mean, most people will try it and go, "You know what? Actually, yeah, fair play. That's pretty good."
Everything that you've got on the can, cucumber, dill, goes, pickle, it's in the glass.
Yeah, it's there.
It's there, which
as it should be, because that's a big bugbear of mine.
No, and this is the point I always come back to. Like, you know, I might, like you say, I might not like it, but if I pick the can up because it has a cucumber and dill goes, then I can't be annoyed if I get cucumber dill and it's salty, because that's exactly what you're giving me. Do you know what I mean? I can't be annoyed. Whether I enjoy it, I'm still fighting it, but there is something like, there's something really appealing about it because it is unusual, and like I keep like going back and back
get
and
Lindsay
back,
to
and I'm
try
going to end up with a can of 440 ml can of this and be like, I'm still unsure. I'm going to have to buy another can, and which is, I think, might be the best compliment I can give you on a goes, to be completely honest. But honestly, everything, the cucumber, it is wicked. Like,
I now know-
refreshing is the right word that you're saying, Gav. Like, it's refreshing for sure.
I now know you're exclusively on picklebacks when we're away. That's fine.
Boys,
Now
I've
you're
pickle beer for me now. That's it.
I've placed my order. It's just went through. So there's going to be some pickles winging the way to me.
How many Führers are in the world?
Well, I've only ordered 2. I'm keeping it fair for everybody else. But what I noticed, we're talking about the comparison. I don't know if you've been on the shop lately, Scott. We all know how much of a fan we are of Volcano. Scott and I have met up for lunch a couple of times at the Red Squirrel, and that's the go-to pint
Ladies
when we're
at
having our lunch. Ladies at lunch. But I noticed there's a new release of Volcano, but it's the Sabro and Sriracha Ace edition.
Oh yeah.
So, and was this just you had Sabro and Sriracha Ace hanging about, and you just thought, why not fuck this in there and see what happens, or what was the thought process
almost?
around that?
I mean, yeah, almost. So we put that out. It was, so I want to say maybe sort of a month ago, maybe just over a month ago. Barney's got an old recipe that he used to do all the time pre-COVID, which was just called Sriracha Ace. And it kind of goes back further than that. So, you know, maybe 10 years ago.
In, like 330 ml, like tall stem bottles, did he?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. And it's one that I remember from years back as well. And I've always been a big fan of Sriracha Ace. Love it. And it's a bit of a Marmite hop as well, because it's quite fragrant. It's quite a kind of obvious pungent flavor almost, and if you like it, you like it, and if not, it's maybe a bit too much. And I've always dug it, and he hasn't brewed it in years, but we were thinking about bringing it back this year, and then we've kind of been playing around with original recipes. So kind of last year was all about, let's do weird stuff, let's kind of push the boat in terms of what we're doing. This year we kind of thought, well, maybe let's try and do versions of core that is going to be interesting. So the two ideas came together. Well, let's do Volcano, which is our bread and butter, keeps the lights on, as we always keep saying, but it's the IPA that we literally produce 2 times a week, every week, all year. Let's do that, but let's do it using Sriracha Ace. And then we thought, well, let's maybe put in almost like a modern counterpart to Sriracha Ace, which would be Sabro, right? And in our head, those flavor profiles matched up. Let's make it that lovely fresh fragrance, but with that coconut tropical. And in terms of what we've produced this year, I think brewery-wise, that's the one that we really love.
Mm-hmm.
And we were, particularly when we brewed it, we did keg, cask, and can. And the cask version
Where's
was
that?
super. It's long gone. Yeah,
Oh,
long gone. It was out
not so
about a
long
while
gone.
back. But yeah, I mean, it was awesome. It was awesome. I think we'll probably rebrew that this year. We don't really rebrew things very often, but yeah, that one, we just love it so much. We drank a lot of that ourselves, to be honest.
That's good.
So,
Well, that's good. I'm looking forward to that.
yeah, it's tasty stuff.
So I've ordered a can of each, and I'm going to try and Well, I mean, I'm assuming it's the same malt bill. It's just different hops that's in there.
Literally the only thing we changed in Volcano was
So
adding those.
it'll be interesting to see what similarities you can glean from trying them and the differences as well. So I'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah,
If you're going to rebrew the Sriracha Sabro, it'll need to be. I would imagine it'll need to be soonish, if I remember correctly. There's a certain thing that happens in Edinburgh every year that you normally there's a beer that goes into overdrive around about that time of year. Is it not that kind of?
well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when it comes to the fringe,
Stones Throw Lager, you become Stones Throw Lager Brewery.com.
Yeah, we start brewing lager and Volcano and IPA, but it's more so the lager. We start brewing that at the start of April, and we basically do an extra brew of each pretty much every week.
You know, just subcontract it out. Do you know? I'm sure you know a couple of friends that work for breweries.
We have done.
Could know.
Yeah, we have. In the past. Yeah, absolutely.
Did your subcontractor's brewery not burn down? Is that not what we heard the last time?
Oh, yes. Okay, so yes, that was last year.
Was an incident.
Didn't burn down, but it had a major fire.
It was right next
yeah,
to
that
it.
was last year, and they couldn't do our contract brewing last year,
That's
so
right,
we went to Farmyard. Actually, those guys are good.
Excellent.
And they saved our ass when it came to lager for the Fringe in Edinburgh in August. But yeah, so say we have done, but we've become more efficient in what we've been doing the last couple of years. We've been focusing on that a lot. And we kind of thought this year, you know what, if we can make it work ourselves, obviously it's better. So we started brewing extra every week in April. And we will be doing that until August. And that will give us the stock we need to survive 3 weeks during the Fringe that summer. Yeah.
And what is the reason for that then? Is that, is that just increased demand in the places that you're already supplying, or do you supply like fringe venues specifically?
It's mainly for Summer Hall. So where the brewery is, Summer Hall, again, for those of you that don't know, it's an arts and culture venue. Historically it's been the second largest fringe venue to the Pleasance. So it's in August, it's jumping. It's massive. It's jam-packed every day, all day. And when you're at Summer Hall, when you're going to any of the bars that are there or any of the venues that have got some taps that we install just for that month, you're drinking a Barney's beer. And more often than not, obviously, people are drinking the lager or the IPA. So, yeah, I mean, it's huge for us. I mean, it kind of makes up, I want to say about a quarter of our annual income comes from those 3.5 weeks. It's huge. Obviously, the other venues in town that we supply, their orders go up as well. So, yeah, it's massive. It's massive. It's one of the reasons that historically we haven't pushed much outside of Edinburgh, because in a lot of ways we can't. Like, we don't have the capacity to brew more. We have to start buckling down now to make sure that we can survive.
Yeah, well, I mean, when it takes up.
I'm not complaining. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, when that 3 weeks takes up 4 or 5 months of your year, it's kind of it's difficult to commit to. Oh yeah, we want to try and supply X, Y, Z more places around. It's difficult to make that commitment.
Yeah.
So, but
that's, and it's kind of, in a way, it's also why the rest of the year we do stupid stuff like Pickle, or like the barrel aging stuff, or like the sour program. And we kind of play around with stuff the rest of the year, because come spring, summer, we kind of lock in, and it's like all day, every day.
Fringe in Edinburgh is just it is mad from like a beer sales point of view. Like everything gears up. But it's weird how Edinburgh has these really weird like peaks and troughs. Like you've obviously got the Fringe, and then everything kind of, September, October time, it's kind of quiet, but it's still tourist season. November sort of dies a death a wee bit, but then as soon as December comes round, it's Christmas time, and everything just goes off its tits again. And then you're back on that merry-go-round of, producing whatever you need to make sure it is just mad. I don't envy anybody that runs a bar in Edinburgh around like for the second half of the year. Like I really don't, like, because
I think that's kind of the thing. Like you kind of get into the mentality that, like I say, it's the second half of the year. You're just foot to the floor and just you're on it until January kicks, and then it dies on its arse.
Yeah.
So after all that stress and angst of the build up to the Fringe, and in those crazy 3 weeks, what you decided to do was organise a festival for that period in between then and Christmas.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's the obvious time of year to put it, right?
Totally.
I mean, it was kind of more of like Mark was saying, it's that in between Fringe and Christmas, and it was kind of a sign off for the year before Christmas kicks in. So that's why we chose September. But
so we've got.
I have to admit, since we chose that, so this is year 3.
Mm-hmm.
I have to admit, there's been a few conversations of like, man, we could have just done. We could have done something. Could have kicked off the year. But,
you could have been the first festival of the year. March time or something. There's a glimmer of sun in the sky. Let's kick it off with a beer festival.
Yeah. Totally.
So as you say, it's the third incarnation or iteration, of Gravity Fest. Yeah, thanks, Gav. We've attended the first 2, and it's firmly up there in the top festivals, certainly in Scotland, but knocking on the door of the bigger ones that we've been to around the UK. What can we expect this year?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us anything?
Absolutely, yes. I can give you the full lineup if you fancy. So we've put out a few of these on socials and things. We've been building it up, obviously, but no, the full lineup is now locked in. So I reckon we should just give you the full lineup and see what happens.
That's a great idea.
Exclusives.
Nice. Yeah, exclusive.
I'm now like scampering for a pen.
Ken, this is getting recorded, right?
Put it on a t-shirt, Gav.
I can do that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, like I say, we put it on. So it's the last weekend of September, 26th and 27th of September. It's at Summer Hall. The idea behind it is that we have a slightly higher ticket price, but once you pay that price, you're through the door. You don't pay for anything. So it's not beer tokens. You're not paying for your drinks. You get to try literally all the beers that are there. You can go back to the same beer over and over. It's that sort of style of festival. And we always try and put in a good mix of breweries. We don't want it to be all hype, all new stuff. Like we mix it up because we want it to be just a fun festival for literally everybody. And also we're kind of obviously inviting our pals and stuff as well.
Yeah.
We are. We are. Third year. But it's a good one this year. It's a good lineup.
Oh my goodness me.
Well, the bits you've already kind of mentioned on your social media pages, you've got Fell, Balance, STF, Sure Shot, Elusive, Duca. I mean, Christ.
Huge.
Just that short list there. That's not even the full list. It's just yes, and yes.
Yeah, it's good stuff. We've been really lucky.
And first announcement on social media: Barney's are pouring. Good.
Yeah,
and that to the end because that would have been the big drum roll, like the
final. I don't want to give anything away, but we're also pouring this year. Yeah. No, as I say, we've been really lucky with who we've been able to get in the past and who's been keen to come up. I think in a lot of ways there wasn't much going on in Edinburgh, and obviously now there's the Big Swally down here, so it's awesome. But when we did the first one, we were the only beer festival that year, so we kind of got lucky in a few ways. Because people from breweries down south want to come to Scotland. You know, they want to be able to come up here and do something, and there was kind of a little hole there. So we're kind of just putting it on in our own little way, and it is, you know, it's fairly small scale. We've got 15 breweries. We do things slightly different on the back end, which you guys probably don't know much about. But the way we work things is that we do a profit share with all the breweries that come along. So any brewery that comes, the money that we take for the tickets, after paying, you know, for venue costs and things like that, we split that evenly between all the breweries that come. So straight off the bat, they're getting an actual payment for a festival, which doesn't happen very often.
In far between. Aye.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often. So it was kind of let's do a good mix of stuff for punters, but let's make a brewery, a festival that's good for the brewers as well. So.
Well, I mean, for somebody like, you know, for Fell or Sure Shot coming up from Manchester, and things like that, if there's at least something there that they can use to cover their costs of their travel and their accommodation and all that kind of stuff, then it make, you know, because like you say, these guys want to come up and showcase their beer to potentially a new audience, because unless you're a craft beer wank like us, you know, you've maybe not heard of Sure Shot, you've maybe not heard of Fell Brewery, and that might be the key to unlock a bit of a new market. And if they're less likely to come up if they're going to be losing money, right? So
yeah, totally. And I mean, we have the same thing by going to festivals. We have to pick and choose. We've done a couple of the big ones the last couple of years, and we kind of decided this year that actually, you know what, they're too expensive. Once you add it all in, there's a few of you away. You've got your stock. You've got to ship stuff down ahead of time. You've got trains. You've got accommodation. You've obviously got after party beers. Like it does all add up. You spend a lot of money in the space of a weekend. So anything that you can kind of do to offset that is a good thing. So
It's a good spot for somebody like, and amongst all those names, somebody like Harry at Ducat being in amongst that's incredible. That's amazing. Just to have that kind of juxtaposition and difference. It really will be something for everyone and every.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea. I mean, Harry in particular is just because I've tried a lot of his beers. We hung out at the odd festival. He's a good guy and he's got great beer. So it's like, tick, you're in. You know, we're not too precious about it, but at the same time, when we put together a lineup, we think of it like a music festival. Yep. You know, you want your headliners and things, but you want your solid mid-range stage, and then you want a few unknowns,
indie up and
people.
Absolutely.
If you know type of one. Like
last year it was the brewery that took up the most space, we'll say, was Timothy Taylor.
Tim Taylor.
And you know, to come in and see that, and they put on such a great display of you know, the bar with the hand pools, and they had all their merch, and they were doing
all the kind of history stuff as well.
Exactly. Their bottles and all the rest of it, and their history, and they had merch giveaways and all that kind of stuff, which was amazing. So, and again, that was kind of a bit left field for me, of a beer festival in Scotland, a craft beer festival in Scotland, to see them there.
Yeah, totally.
They wouldn't have been two things that I'd have put together, but they sat really well, and the beer was amazing, and as you would expect. But yeah. So who can we expect this year that we've not already mentioned?
So I'll go alphabetical order. So we've got Ascension Cider, who were invited last year but couldn't come at the last minute. So they're back. Well, nice. They're here for the first time. But so they'll be up. We've always got a cider stand, and Ascension stuff is great. I was hanging out with Matt and Lauren a couple of weeks ago, and they're just awesome. So they're coming up. We've got Balance Brewery and Blendery from Manchester, who just do superb funk. We've got us. We've got Cold Town. We've got Qual Beer. We've got Ducat. We've got Elusive, Fell, Fine Ales, and they'll be doing the cask bar this year.
Nice.
We've got Lost Cause, Northern Monk, Simple Things, Sure Shot, Three Legs, and Verdant.
Oh, there's the one. There's the one. There's your soundbite right there.
Never heard of them
Bad,
before.
eh?
Aye.
Okay, no.
Man, who the fuck are they?
Yeah, well, like I say, you need to put a couple of weird ones in there that people don't
Yeah.
know. So.
They're the brewery for Call of Duty, aren't they, Gavin? For that.
And have you asked your breweries to submit the dimensions of their bars that they intend on bringing?
I was going to say that. Is it
Um,
that, or is the sheet for making an appearance got the dimensions of the door for Summerhall?
Well, exactly. So, yes, this is the story from last year when Tartarus came and took their amazing, brand new bar for the festivals, and it didn't fit through the door.
So they were on. It was effectively a.
It was a bar.
They
It
went old school. They went trestle
pop-up
table, a
table,
couple of
like-
linders.
Aye,
Yeah,
it was a proper pop-up, foldy-legged table.
absolutely,
With
absolutely.
the,
I mean, you know,
Windows on it.
the thing is, their bar was huge. It was massive. And they'd really kitted it out as well. It looked great, and it was proper. It wasn't just a couple of linders and a fancy bar. But yeah, no.
Looked up at the top of the hall and saw Timothy Taylor and thinking, well, they got that through the door. No, that was here before.
Yeah, that was here before,
That's always your door.
Funnily enough, yeah, their new bar pop up for festivals wouldn't fit through the 18th
Things
century
to pack
doors that were built at Summerhall.
2025. Tape measure.
That's it.
And
Yeah,
flat
we'll be
pack
double
flat.
checking that this year.
Aye, thankfully, Barney didn't have to break out the hammer and chisel and extend the doorway.
Almost.
And last year we had some interesting talks and stuff going on in the labs. We had the Scott and I went and listened to the guys for Crossover, the Blendery, and also the guys from Bathhouse, the hop suppliers,
Yes.
which were insanely interesting. Are we going to expect similar this year, or is that happening again, or what's going
Yeah,
on?
similar but different. So we'll be doing talks and tastings. We do 2 per session. They're free. You just have to get your name on the list. So we only do them for small groups of 10, 15, really. So they don't get too unruly. And it's sort of half an hour, 45 minutes. Some of them are with breweries. Sometimes it's with, like, say, hop suppliers and things like that. We haven't organized who's doing what this year yet, so I can't give you that one. But
Nice.
yeah, we'll be doing that again because that's just a fun little extra.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. It was really great to just step away for a few minutes and really listen to somebody. And we really enjoyed, Scott and I really enjoyed the talks, and particularly the guys for Crossover were just amazing. Like their passion, and it was something that was totally different to what we had experienced from a brewing perspective before. And the guy, as you say, these guys are coming up to not just to sell their product, but to just to impart their passion, and it was really
absolutely. And it's like it's about getting your name out, and it's about just people sort of recognizing you. It's not about let's go and conquer Scotland. It's not that. It's it's a new. Good luck, by the way. It's a new it's a new audience. And it's, festivals are good for brewers because you're literally handing your beer into the customer's hand and you're watching them drink it. And it's so much fun to kind of see their reactions and hear the questions. And
Basically, it's a great way for you to try these new stuff because, like, from a brewing point of view, you've got your volcanoes that keep your lights on. That's tried, tested, but it's nice to be able to throw shit at the people at a festival like that. I'm not saying shit for that particular poor reason, but as in, like, you can brain dump in that way. That's what I was more meaning. Like, you can just say, look, we want to try something different. We want to maybe turn the corner on, like, the styles that we're making. We want to maybe re-pitch ourselves into a different, like, demographic, whatever it might be. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're going to try a sour beer.
Is this where potentially, like, for me, the two things marry up in terms of the Pickle beer and the Gravity Festival, how the Gravity Festival is set up in terms of is you pay for your ticket, and once you pay for your ticket, your beer's essentially paid for. And it allows you to have that freedom to try these things that you maybe wouldn't try necessarily if you were having to pay for tokens or you're paying up or you're paying at the bar. Is that, for you guys, do you think that's helped with the success of the Pickle beer? I know I'm kind of going swinging around a bit here back to where we started, but is that where potentially how the Pickle beer has grown maybe more than you initially thought it would.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably got a lot to do with it because that's where most people tried it.
Mhm.
I don't, we didn't put it on Untapped or anything, but somebody did at the festival.
Mhm.
And then I guess it kind of maybe gained traction through that. I'm not really sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if the two were linked. But yeah, like you say, it's a good excuse to kind of play around a little bit and get some stuff in to an audience that don't really know you. I mean, from a punter point of view, I love the festivals where, like you say, you don't have to think too hard about which beer you're going to have. You can just, you're getting a wee measure. You can just kind of try them all. If there's one you like, you go back and you have it again and again throughout the day. If there's not, then you just move on. Like, it's not a big deal. You haven't bought a pint. You haven't.
Aye.
The crossover stuff was excellent. We had it, and we were in there and we tried it. Everybody in the room tried it, and he was like, "Right, so what do you think?" We're like, "It's absolutely superb. Can't wait to try the rest of it." And he's greased the wheels excellently by saying, "Good," because I'm not taking any of him. And there we go. And that's that. It was image, like it was like a right, try it, see what you think. This is how we do it, kind of thing, and spoke us through it, and then said, right, he's like it, good, because I'm not taking any of it back.
Like that setup allows drinkers to, instead of the potential first thought when you're in a tap room or a bar, you're thinking with your wallet sometimes, and especially in the world we're living at the moment. Here you can, like you said, you can be free with your choices and go, I'll try something I'll potentially never get a chance to try before. Pickle beer or Verdant or Fell or Balance. I suspect that the festival Balance is going to be one of those breweries, like you said, because they're such a funky brewery in terms of what they produce. They'll be, I suspect they'll be pushing out a ton of product that week, that day, or a couple of days, I should say.
Yeah, I would have thought there'll be a bit of a sleeper hit for sure.
The Timmermans area, like trying stuff, and it was like strawberry and was it strawberry and black pepper?
Strawberry and thyme. I'm sure it was strawberry and thyme. Was it no?
Something like that. There was hibiscus and there was various flavors, and it was really cool. And they had the Guinness collaboration there as well, which you didn't get to try, but it weirded me out. Something awful.
They did crack a couple of bottles at one point over the weekend, and they made a big song and dance when they did it. So even then, even if you rushed the bar when it was open, you might not still get some. But I did get to try it. It's in a lot of ways, it's exactly how you expect it to be, and then in some it's a bit weirder than that. It was tasty. I'm not sure.
No.
Amazing,
but it was really good. The stuff with the kind of herbs and fruit beside it, that was really
But at the same time, the guy opened up an older bottle for us, and we had a taste of an older one, and it was really interesting to taste like the fruity stuff and then taste that, because you could see you could taste the sort of the basic lambicness.
I was going to say, it would have been one of their kind of straight lambics, right?
Aye, but then the aged stuff was something similar, but like amped up to a whole new level, and it was just a type of beer that I've never really tried. And if you go and try and buy some of that shit in a bottle shop, it's pretty expensive, and I'd be more comfortable doing it now. If I was to go and see a lambic, an aged lambic or whatever in a bottle shop, and I could maybe get on board with paying a bit more for it, because I kind of know what to expect now that I've tried something like that, but maybe not, and not in the past, definitely not.
Well, that's where the setup, that style of setup of festivals is suits. And we've said it before. We spoke about festival setups because obviously, Mark, you work for a brewery, if you didn't know, and like that aspect when we spoke about it with you in terms of festivals, and what can be beneficial for a brewery is
it's money and exposure. I come back to it all the time. It's as simple as that. Like you're not fuck off here, but I'm not. You're not doing it for anything other than money and exposure. It was funny how we went like 350 965 episodes, whatever the number is, until Gav found fucking sound
brother.
effects. In the last 5, it's been like
It's great. It saves me like I did it 1 or 2 episodes, and I got fed up trying to edit the sound effects in. Now I can just do it on the fly. It's great. It's great. Ali, tickets are still available for the festival. Best place to go and grab some?
Through the website, so just gravitybeerfestival.co.uk.
Good stuff.
Grab them on there.
Head over the website.
So, a quick question then. So, we've got Pickle. What's on the second half of the year other than Lager and Volcano?
Oh,
What's
that's
on the? Is there anything weird and wonderful that we should look out for? Well, obviously, we've got another beer here that we've not touched.
This is what I wanted to talk about. So yeah, I'm obviously keen to try this beer that Mark's going to showcase just now. But what I want to know is the some of this beer sitting in a barrel, and what barrel is it sitting in? And when can I get my hands on that shit?
I mean, fair question. This one, no. This one's not. I know.
I've still got about
it doesn't
3.
need
I've
it.
still got
It
2
doesn't need it.
bottles of your
But
OG
this is-
stuff.
This is purple.
It's
This
purple.
this might be glass ruiner stuff. This is dishwasher glass proof if it's got
here it
beetroot in it.
goes.
Are you opening it, Gil?
No, you'd be surprised.
No, it's definitely got it definitely has a red.
Yeah,
No.
there's a reddish tinge, but it's
Yes.
not. Yeah,
No.
it's not.
It's no,
It's not gimmick purple.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's not purple, but you can definitely tell it's got a bit of a hue when you're pouring it from the glass. It's got a slight. You can tell.
Can I
Yeah,
this series, if I don't know if series is the right collection, whatever you guys use is this. Like, I think this collection for me, the post-mortem stuff is the one. I'm not saying the one thing from Barney's, but this is like for me like starry on shit that you guys do. Like it's just unreal. Like, and you know, we obviously have had the chance to try a number of these iterations over the years. You know, with the Chardonnay number, there was a red wine one. I think I've still got sitting out, and we had it. And when you were pouring it on keg as well, it was just like unbelievable. It was the first time when I remember speaking to you at one of the festivals, and I thought, like, this is like game changing stuff for Barney's. This is like used really like this is the door's been blown off in terms of we're thinking outside the box. We're trying to do stuff that we really want to do. We're trying to throw flavors and brewing technique into that is exactly how we want. And you know, obviously I've been at the brewery a couple of times, so I know the space that you've got and where like storing the barrels and why it's called post-mortem and stuff like is part of that. And it's just every time you release something like this or I see a bottle, like you say, I've been clearing the old the brew store, I would call it, in the garage for me. And I was like, there's another bottle of that. So there's like 2. I think I've got the white wine one and the red wine number.
Nice.
That was, I don't know how old they were now. So I
it'll be a few years.
Knowing that you were on, I probably should have went and cracked one tonight, but I'll do it in actual person because I think that's probably more
Cool.
appropriate. Me and Ali will share it. Fuck you guys.
Damn right, I'm not caring who you share it with. It's just a sharer.
There's a share. But this for me is like this is the like sort of collection. So I'm intrigued to see what Gilroy's got to say about it.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I mean, the post-mortem range started off life as a mixed firm project.
Cool.
And it was what Barney was brewing during lockdown. So he was going to the brewery because he could. There was nobody else around, and he was just playing around, knowing that he wouldn't need to release anything for a year or whatever. He was just messing about. So that's how that started. So it was just a little mixed firm project, a few barrels here and there. And it's kind of grown to become our really experimental stuff. So it's now mixed firm, which is always going into bottle, and it's our imperial stouts, and they go into can. Still it's a side project. We still do it. more for fun than anything else, and to kind of, like I say, test the boundaries. Mixed firm wise, we've got a fair few of those coming out this year. They have started to get packaged already, and we'll kind of dot them throughout the year, but they're very, very traditional Belgian lambic style. There's a few that we've played around with adjuncts and played around with barrels and things, so they're all coming.
I'll be up at Summer Hall in the next couple of weeks, mate. I'm sure we can do some
play.
trades.
So yeah, we're going to dot a couple of them around in the summer, and then we'll have some for Gravity. We're going to launch more at Gravity. We've got a couple of collabs as well, one which is a pretty big deal, and that'll launch at Gravity as well. And yeah, MP Stout season, when that rolls around, we've got a couple of ideas. But
what is it you're drinking at the moment, Scott? We've not actually said what the beer
I know
is.
So,
just
and at that point, I'm going to go and get a beer.
Yeah, you go for it. Just while we're having weird and wonderful stuff, we've moved from one. It's not a vegetable, is it? But we've moved from one savoury item to another. So this imperial pastry stout. So it's an imperial pastry. Let me get it right. Chocolate, super duper chocolate, muscovado sugar, small batch imperial pastry stout at 8.4%. The bit I'm kind of working on a bit is that it's got beetroot in it.
Aye.
So it's dosed with beetroot, and
not necessarily too wacky a concept.
No.
You know, if you're somebody that bakes or watches cooking programs and things like that, beetroot is oft added to the odd brownie or cake or things like that, and works well. So I'd be intrigued to see if and what it adds to an imperial stout.
Earthiness or something, maybe, I don't know. I think
it is a bit of earthiness. So there is a sweetness that is not sugar. It's got a good dose, as it says on the can, of muscovado sugar in there to help make it so that it's not too savoury, and also to help balance up against the chocolate, so you don't. So it's not just a beetroot drink. Basically, it doesn't taste like a health shake. It still tastes like an imperial stout. But what you do
health shake.
Exactly.
is it good as one of your 5 a day?
A chocolate imperial stout flavoured protein mixture. Whey. You'll know Ken where you are when you've had enough of this. But it's got that slightly earthy and kind of natural sweet tinge to it, but also emphasises the chocolate and the bitterness a wee bit in the chocolate as well. So it just helps with the balance and kind of round it off. It's no sugary. It doesn't taste sugary sweet. It doesn't taste sickly. It doesn't. It's just it's got spades of body, obviously at 8.4%. It's, and it's, as I said when I was pouring it, you see that kind of slight purple hue, but it's not a purple beer. It's not gimmicky in any way, but it's got that slight. You can tell because you've read it. You see the label, it's got that kind of slight purple label on it, mentions the beetroot right away. You see that kind of hue in the glass, but it just is really well balanced, and it's evened out, and it just adds and helps emphasize the chocolate and the sweetness, as I say, and gives it that kind of earthy kick, which is a bit different. I'm really impressed.
I don't know about you, Gil. The back, I've cracked it open as well because I knew you were opening it. Like the back end of it's like really smooth. Like it's proper smooth, and like see with these type of beers, like the reason I get scared of these type of beers is being over sickly, and then the punch of alcohol in these beers that you sometimes get. But you don't get either of those two things with this whatsoever. The back end of the beer is super smooth, nice and sweet. It's not overpoweringly sweet. It's chocolate. And I agree with you, Gil, like in terms of like the kind of sugariness of the beer, the sweetness from the beer, it is a different kind of sweetness, which I'm assuming you're probably the same as me. It's coming from the beetroot. But it is a superly well-balanced beer. And for me, who's not normally an imperial stout drinker, like, and again, to the point of the first beer, Squish, which was 7.2 and drank like a 3. This is 8.4 and does not drink like that whatsoever.
No, it's equally scary.
Hmm.
Good to hear. I missed most of your conversation there because I was
Oh,
getting a
well,
beer, but I
talk to
kind
us
of picked
about
up on the
Beetroot and
highlights.
beer, Ali, and how they where Callum was kind of going through that. Obviously, the baker is not a stranger to mixing chocolate with beetroot potentially.
Yeah, and that was
in
kind
kind
of
frame.
that was the genesis of the idea. It's when we play with adjuncts, we never touch flavorings. We're playing with the real stuff. That's kind of the fun. So with pickle, it's real cucumbers. We juice them, they go in. We play with herbs. We play with that sort of thing. So that's kind of where the idea came from. We know that beetroot and chocolate works in brownies. That's a pretty obvious thing. Chocolate cake and stuff. So it was, let's see if it'll bring something to the beer. And I think that the beetroot that's in there, like I say, it stops it from getting too sickening, too cloying, because it's a pastry stout. There's a bit of lactose, but there's not a huge amount.
Mhm.
It stops it getting too sticky, and it gives it just a bit of depth, a bit of character. There's a kind of slight earthiness, a slight umami thing that just stops that vanilla like going through the roof. It's got cacao nibs, dark cacao nibs that again just add a bit of depth and a bit of roastiness too. So
It's going to be the first imperial stout that I've had in a while that I can safely say a 440ml can isn't going to be a struggle.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it's something that I say a lot about 440ml cans of stuff that's 8% and higher in the stout category. Is you need to almost have somebody with you to have to can with just to so you're not sat kind of having to nurse the last third at times, because it is too sickly, it is overpowering, and then you're having it and you're not. It's no one you're going to start with. You're going to have it at the not at the beginning anyway of a session. You might then go into that kind of phase of your evening or whatever your afternoon, but I'll not struggle to finish the can, which is a huge compliment in a world of like. That's why when you're having the Emperor stuff and things like that, it's got to be 330s, I think, because it's really difficult to have it on your own, particularly when it's 10, 11, 12%. That's scary stuff, but it's easy to drink because it's got that bit of difference in flavour. It is easy drinking.
No, it genuinely is.
Love it, man. I love the easy, because the single hop dipper was like butter. Like it was so flavoursome. It was just easy
But
drinking.
again, you can tell the building before you go into an adjunct. We say loads of times, those that you can tell it's a really good beer recipe that if it wasn't there, it would be a banging imperial stout.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, when I say that we don't like to play with flavorings and things, I think that's kind of what I'm saying. It needs to be a good beer first and foremost, and then you need to give it something that's going to lift it, that's going to enhance it. It's not let's make a strong dark beer and then hit it with toffee and caramel. And,
let's shove more bits like let's hammer bits of crunchy into it and things like that. And they work to certain extents, but you're not going to have, like I say, I would struggle to get through a can of it, and it's. I think it's
drinkability is high up the list for us.
And can I say value?
We're doing, it's
value wise on a web shop up here, and I'm not. Prices don't really matter, but $6.25 a can on the web shop is incredible value for something at 8.4%. That's that good. It's good value. I mean, you wouldn't. I don't think it would do too much if you were going to get some squish or you were going to get some of the Sabro and Sriracha Ace Volcano to chuck a can or two of the post-mortem in there. It's like Mark said as well. They're few and far between for a reason, because they're really good. This iteration of the Imperial Stout with the beetroot in it is a talking point and a really good beer at the same time, which isn't always the case.
I think. Can I just say, I think today, and I know that we probably didn't need like a Barney's check-in, but I think if all four of us, if not at least three of us, had Barney's in our top 10 Scottish breweries this year, when we done the podcast a few months back, and for me, it's like, you know, I say we take that serious, but we do spend a good 20 minutes talking about it. You know what I mean? You know,
As long as that,
and we spend a good hour and a half recording talking about it with it. But no, but like I say, in all seriousness, like it's really interesting when we've compared like last year and this year, because we've done it like twice now. We've looked at Scottish breweries in particular, and the caliber of breweries in Edinburgh that you're fighting against, Ali, is unreal.
We've got
some
amazing neighbours. Yeah.
Incredible breweries. You know, and you know we are really lucky within the cap. But I've got to admit, everything that we've spoke about today has just been another sort of like tick. There's a reason why and you know, we're comparing apples and oranges sometimes, because let's be like, your brewery, you're brewing 800 litres at a time. You know, I know other breweries are brewing, you know, 6,000 litres at a time, you know, give or take, you know, and you know that the game is totally different in those like terms. However, we judge it by beer, we judge it by styles, we judge it by, you know, all that kind of stuff, and everything that you are producing for me is just always like top notch stuff. And for me, like the pickle, I'm happy to say you should try it. For me, it's like
I'll take that.
For me, it's like still I'm not going to.
But for you though, as a person that normally doesn't like sours or goes, to say try it is a step, and for me to turn around and go with a stout and turn and go, this is drinkable, 100% have it. Like this is the most
everything that the can says. It's everything,
exactly.
and it's on style, right? So if you are a goes drinker, it's salty. It has that, like, dare I say, umami sort of vibe. It's kind of got that, like, it's full body, like it's light, but everything that's on the can, it delivers.
Yep.
My palate wise, like I said, I just, as soon as you were talking about it, I was like, I know I'm going to struggle with that completely, but that's why there's 4 of us on this podcast, and that's what it's all about.
Right,
well, all those things that you're just saying there, obviously very kind, thank you very much. But I mean, those are the things that are important for us. So, you know, drinkability is incredibly important. It has to taste like it should. You know, whatever we put on that can, it has to taste that way.
Yeah.
We break down exactly what goes into that beer so that you know what you're drinking. And we can kind of give you an insight into how we've made it taste that way. You know, those things are important. But I mean, there's 5 of us, like say we're doing 800 litres a day, 4 times a week, say. And we've all come from various different places, and we've all been doing it for quite a few years. And at the end of the day, we're just, you know, we're beer drinkers, we're geeks in a way, but really what we're wanting to do is just make good beer and kind of put it out there. Expansion is not what we're looking at. You know, selling out batches of Pickle is amazing, but that's a huge departure from what we normally do. And it's just a bit of fun. Let's roll with it. Why not? You know,
you're not turning into the Pickle Brewery overnight or anything like that.
No,
I need to crowdfund a pickle factory.
Yeah, exactly. That's not our style at all. You know, come 4, 3:30, we're locking the door and we're going to the pub. Like it's in a lot of ways, it's in my head anyway what a brewery should be. Not that going big and changing the world is not a good thing for a lot of these guys, but it's not our style. So yeah, it's cool to hear you say that stuff.
No, you're making it very drinkable beers. Put it this way, the Imperial Stout hasn't made it onto my Imperial Stout / beers I'm scared to drink shelf, which has some very aged beers on it. To be fair, some of them now probably taste amazing, but yeah, there's a good dozen.
What's on the shelf? You're looking off camera there. You're obviously looking at the shelf, so come on.
There's a couple of other worlds up there. Wasted Degrees. What else is up there? Because I can't see quite around the corner.
Wasted Degrees barley wine bound to be somewhere near there, is it? No,
it's in the fridge actually. It's the Chipotle Porter is currently up there. There's one Stuart one up there, and there's stuff from about 3 years ago. It's just been sitting there.
Do you know, I was more in this. It's not a comment on the beer because I've not tried it yet, but just because of the style and what was mentioned on the Mrs. Just because, and I've got a total thing about I think it was this is going to be a total throwback, Muller Crunch Corner, Mississippi Mud Pie Muller Crunch Corner yogurts, which were too sweet and tasted horrible. The Stuart Mud Pie thing gives me the heaps in terms of the fear of drinking it because of the sweetness, and I bet it's great. I bet it's brilliant.
Too sweet.
The name on it.
Wasn't it too
Then
sweet?
when I thought, wait a minute, there's a savoury element in the post-mortem, I didn't feel as fearful going into the first of that as I will do when I eventually crack the mud pie, and it's only because of the sickliness. So having that considered balance there, it definitely took the feed away a wee bit. It's just it's PTSD for having used the banana and chocolate cornflakes crunch corner that I was used to. It was
that is a throwback. Shit, I forgot that existed.
Christ. Fucking
There you
hell,
go.
how
That's the
you
next
remember that?
post-mortem then. There we go. Banana
Exactly.
and chocolate covered cornflakes.
Oh God.
Tempest have got, I'm talking about the banana with the chocolate cornflakes. Tempest have released a banana. There's a banana.
Just a banana.
A banana stout.
Oh, really?
Tempest have it there, which I can only imagine is right up Mark's street. Mark loves banana beer.
Banana is a tricky flavour.
I'm sure it was there.
Without it coming across as like fake banana foam sweets, you know?
Yeah.
It's a hard flavour to pull off, especially in a stout. You'd think it would clash a bit. But hey,
Well, what is a good?
If somebody could pull it off, Tempest.
Well, that's very true.
Yeah.
Well, the stuff that I had from those guys at Brew London was spectacular. Ali, the stuff that you guys are producing is bang on trend and does exactly says what it does in the tin. Did that backwards there. Where is the best place for people to grab hold of some Barney's beer?
Well, if you're in Edinburgh, we're in most of the bottle shops and a fair few bars, restaurants and hotels and things as well. Outside of Edinburgh, head up the web shop. So just barneysbeer.co.uk and you'll find the shop on there.
Indeed. Jump on the website, barneysbeers.com, and you can go and grab yourself some of the beers. If you have a local bottle shop and they don't sell Barney's, ask them why. Absolutely. And point them in the right direction. They're genuinely, they're not going to be disappointed. The three beers that I've had tonight are ridiculous. All smashable, all drinkable. Genuinely, Squish might be my favourite single hop dipper of the year. Might just be my favourite dipper of the year, flat out. Forget fucking single hop. And the postmortem is, for me, as a non-stout drinker, especially imperial stouts that scare the shit out of me, that is tremendously drinkable. Normally, what happens is I drink half of it, and then when I walk back in the house, it gets fucked in the grass as I walk in. This is not getting thrown in the grass. This is getting kept 100%. So definitely get yourself over the website, barneysbeers.com. As we mentioned as well, head over to the Gravity Beer Festival website, gravitybeerfestival.co.uk. Go and get yourself some tickets because much diverse kind of festival, a whole range of beers, whole range of breweries as well, and you're not going to be disappointed with selection. A brewery for the brewers and the punters as well. So head over to gravitybeerfestival.co.uk. Indeed, thank you.
Stop doing that, you cunt.
He's got a new toy. Let him play.
And refer to your map.
Yes.
On the on socials for Friday. Look out for a pickle.
Absolutely. If you go to our Instagram, the map's on there. So it's Barney Beer. So miss out the S. Barney Beer for Instagram. And also, actually, you were saying before about people who've got a local bottle shop. If you're wanting to get in touch with us, shoot me a message on Instagram. It's me on the other side. And yeah, we'll figure something out to get some stock. Not Pickle. It's all gone. Next time.
I've already nudged my local, but I'm like, get these guys
Volcano in.
Get some Volcano in. Do me a favour. In fact, I'm trying to get my bottle. I'll be seeing them tomorrow. I'll be trying to convince them to buy a case of squish. Just for me, to be honest. To be fair. Head over to the website, head over to all the social media pages as well. While you're at it, if you haven't already, like, follow, share the Beerfish podcast. Do us a favor, give the episode a 5-star rating. That'd be much appreciated. Helps us out a lot. But you can also show your official support as well. We've got the patreon.com/Beer Fridge podcast. Get every single episode early before anyone else. And when the guys get some homebrew sorted, you get some homebrew as well. Patreon.com/Beer Fridge podcast. For myself and all the guys, Ali, I appreciate it. Until next time, cheerio.
Toodaloo.
Yeah.
1, 2.